Oh, here, okay.
We're set? Okay. Time is approximately 5:03, and it's time to call the Farragut Beer Board for October 14th, 2021 to order. For the record, can we please take the roll call?
Sir. Alderman Burnett.
Here.
Alderman Meyer.
Here.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Here.
Alderman Povlin. Here. Mayor Williams.
Here.
Okay. Are there any changes to the agenda?
No, sir.
Okay. First item is approval of the minutes from August 26, 2021.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, any questions, comments? If not, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes have been approved. The purpose of this beer board is to issue a beer license when requested and to subject penalties to those that violate our beer ordinance. Apparently tonight we have no beer permit requests, but we do have some other items on the agenda. So, Allison, you want to start?
Actually, I think we'll end up turning it over to Tom to start us off.
We have, this evening, we have three citations for beer board violations. And before we get started, let me ask, is there a representative from Fairfield Inn here? Okay. What about the Hampton Inn?
There.
And what about Smart Serve? Is there a representative for Smart Serve here? Okay. Let us, why don't we swear anybody that's going to testify on behalf of the two that are represented here? If you would, let her swear you in, please, sir, both of you.
You got to stand and raise your right hand.
Yeah.
You both can. There. So, do you solemnly swear that the evidence you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay.
Thank you. I think both of you all probably had in your packets the procedures that we follow, except generally we don't end up completely following the procedure because almost every time the party that is here that's been charged generally acknowledges that there was a violation, and we move from the discussion of the issue phase into what the board wishes to do with respect to the violation as far as a penalty or a fine or whatever. And so to make this a little simpler possibly, I would ask either or both of you, are you here to contest the citation?
No.
Okay. So you admit that there was a violation based on the information that you've been provided?
Yes.
And would you prefer that we go into the discussion of the penalty phase?
Yes.
Okay. Well, normally what we do at this point is let the board ask whatever questions that they would like to ask of the people involved and make a decision about what you think is an appropriate penalty.
Detective Cole with Knox County is also here, if we have any questions for him.
Thank you.
So, board members, we want to take one at a time. Let's see, what's the first one?
Fairfield.
Fairfield? All right. Any questions for them?
Do we want to bring, who's?
Yeah, we need to.
Fairfield needs to come on up.
Yes, please. State your name and address, please.
Trent Walker, business address, 11763 Snyder Road.
Any questions?
I'll ask a couple. Have you, do you know if your organization has had a violation before?
Not that I'm aware of, no, sir. I've been there, this is my 5th year, and we haven't had, this is our first violation.
Okay. Are you, have you investigated yourself the facts that resulted in the violation that occurred here?
I did speak to the staff member. She's no longer with me, but I did speak with the staff member about it. Yes, sir.
Do you have any kind of explanation for the board as to what happened and how it happened? And
No, I don't understand why she couldn't read a date, so. Yeah.
Do you train everyone that comes in that's
I
working
do.
the front desk?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
And what kind
Feel
of,
comfortable with the material you have as far as training? We have a packet we give to new people, new businesses that get a permit. So you feel comfortable with what you have?
We do our training through White Glove.
Okay.
That come in and train everyone. I actually just had a class and had 4 people certified 2 weeks ago.
Just to be clear, the ID that was presented was under 21 age.
I didn't see it. From the report, it was, yes. She didn't have an explanation as to why she misread the date. That's all she told me.
Detective Cole, would you mind, did you see the ID of the person that was selling?
I did not. I have the report from the officer himself here. If you'd like, I can read it, and that way it's on record.
May be helpful, just
Okay.
for the board to hear that.
All right. On August 12th, 2021, at approximately 18:23 hours, detectives with the Knox County Sheriff's Office Organized Retail Crime Unit conducted an underage beer sale investigation at a Knox County business. The arrestee, she was cited and had to turn herself in to be fingerprinted and booked. Desk clerk at the Fairfield Inn, located at 11763 Snyder Road, was working when the underage person entered the business. The underage person selected a bottle of Corona beer and handed the clerk her ID. After seeing her identification, the clerk sold her the beer. The arrestee was misdemeanor cited and is to appear at the City County Building at 07:30 hours on Thursday, August 26th, 2021, to be fingerprinted and booked. So usually, I do the same thing. We will take someone that is under the age of 21, from the age of 18 to 20, we will take them in and tell them to go in and do a compliance check. And if they follow the rules that they're supposed to do, they check the ID, and if they come out and they don't sell it to them, we're happy, we're ecstatic. And if they don't, then we'll go in and we'll issue a citation to the person that is actually sold the alcohol to the person.
Sir, did your underage person actually pay for the alcohol?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I've got a question for Trent.
Yes, sir.
Did this person wear glasses?
No, sir, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't, not that I'm aware of.
I'm done.
Any other questions?
No, I don't have any.
All right. It's time to assess a penalty. Before you should all have a piece of paper showing what we agreed to in 2018 as far as a first offense, 14-day suspension typically. If the defendant is interested in a civil penalty instead, it's been $500. So they have the option and the choice. I guess it's up to you.
Did you say 500?
$500?
Yeah, I would rather pay the penalty than lose my license for 14 days, yes, sir.
Otherwise, 14 days. So you'd rather pay the penalty.
It's a 14-day suspension, so it's
Yeah,
not.
I'd rather pay the penalty.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, so I'm going to make the motion to find Fairfield Inn guilty of the violation of selling beer to a minor, and motion to, do I do separate motions, or can I do them together?
I think you can do it together.
Together.
They've already been found guilty.
Yeah,
I mean, they've
okay,
already
so-
pled guilt.
Penalty.
Okay, so motion to give a penalty of $500 for violation of selling beer to a minor at Fairfield Inn.
Second.
Can I just jump in 1 second? So, for instance, if he does not pay the penalty of $500 within 7 days, I believe it is, then the suspension would actually go into effect. So what we need is for the beer board to, as that motion is read, is to say a $500 fine, or in the alternative, a 14-day suspension if the fine is not paid.
So how
Within
about
7
this?
days.
Motion to give a penalty of $500 for violation of selling beer to a minor at Fairfield Inn to be paid in 7 days, or a 14-day suspension will be, whatever, what's the word I'm looking for?
Assessed.
Assessed, yeah.
Assessed.
We okay? Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. I second it.
Second.
I think you did.
I'll
I
let you do
did.
it, you're the chair.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
I do have one comment.
Sure.
And I know, Trent, you don't want to be here. This is, of all the things that we do, this is the absolute worst thing to me, to be up here and assessing a business for something that is, to me, and I'm sure to you, very simple thing, to look at an ID and say, no, we can't sell you beer.
Well-trained, spend a lot of money training, et cetera, et
Yes,
cetera, yeah.
exactly. So-
As I said, she's no longer with us.
Yes, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, but it's just, I hate this.
Frustrating.
Especially at this time, $500 is a lot of money, and it's certainly something that you don't want to be parted with. So I.
But I don't want a lot of minors running around drinking beer either,
No, so, yes, and obviously that's what's bringing us here. So I implore you to speak with your desk clerks to make sure that they understand the seriousness of we don't want this happening in our town, and we're not, we're stuck in a hard situation, so please have that
Understood.
conversation, because I really don't want, I do not like this.
And you would think after the white glove class, they wouldn't do this kind of stuff. I mean, she's pretty rough, so she's pretty tough on them, so. Yeah, I don't have an explanation as to why, and she didn't either. She just misread it, is what she told me, so.
Okay, thank you, Trent, and let's hope we don't see you back down here.
That's
I sure hope not.
my
At least
most.
for this.
Where can I pay this at?
What?
Where can I pay this at?
Speak to
Allison.
Allison, she'll,
Can I pay it now?
We need to vote yet.
yeah, okay. Let's vote first.
Questions, comments?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
All in
Yeah,
favor?
It'll have to be after this meeting, is that okay?
Do I know?
It'll have to be right after this meeting, is that okay? To pay it? Yeah. Or you can come in tomorrow.
Okay. Just come up here.
Yeah, you can just come to the front desk. Okay.
Is that all?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion passes. Next item.
The next one is Hampton Inn. Introduce yourself and give us your address, and then I'll ask Detective Cole to read into the record what was found, and we'll go from there.
Okay, thanks. Darren Talent, business address is 11340 Campbell Lakes Drive.
Thank you.
On August 12th, 2021, at approximately 17:32 hours, detectives with the Knox County Sheriff's Office Organized Retail Crime Unit conducted an underage beer sale investigation at Knox County Business. The arrestee is a desk clerk at the Hampton Inn and Suites located at 11340 Campbell Lakes Drive and was working when the underage person entered the business. The underage person selected a bottle of Corona beer and handed the clerk her ID. After seeing her identification, the clerk sold her the beer. The arrestee was misdemeanor cited and is to appear at the City County building at 7:30 hours on Thursday, August 26th, 2021, to be fingerprinted and booked.
Thank you. Did you have any kind of investigation of the circumstances that resulted here?
Yes, the individual that sold the beer, she's actually my new assistant manager. She had not been fully trained on that yet. She was not within 2 months of hire. It was on the to-do list to have her serve safe training, which is a vendor that we use for that. I think it was like right around 50 days she was at as a newly hired, and she was just covering a shift that night. We had a desk clerk call in, so she was covering a shift and just made an error. To my knowledge, she told me that she looked at the ID and just kind of got the calculation messed up in her head. So, yeah, she admitted to checking the ID, and she just said she got the math wrong. So,
Any other questions from the board members?
What kind of training do all your staff have who sell alcohol to?
yeah, so we use serve safe training, alcohol training, and typically we have a corporate team member train all our Knoxville hotels at once. Like I said, she was within 60 days of hire. Typically, just being completely transparent, we try to train them within 30 to 45 days. Just a little bit behind on that, which I take full responsibility for. So, but since then, I will say, as soon as we learned about that, I stopped selling beer. I didn't sell beer for probably a month. My people that were already trained, I retrained them, and any new members were trained fully by a corporate trainer that did that. I think it was three to 4 weeks ago. So everybody has been either retrained or newly trained since this occurred, so.
Do you think you could move the Serve Safe training earlier in the orientation for an employee rather than 50 to 60 days?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
We do have a packet that we give out to people that apply for a permit. It might help if someone's in between training sessions to have this
Sure.
packet that maybe, if that would help you, could we get him a packet?
Yeah, Karen Pershing. Pershing is going to bring, she's coming to the board meeting next month, so she's bringing some.
It might help just if you bring somebody new on board to
For sure,
go
absolutely.
over that packet.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Something else, if you will instruct all of them to look at their driver's license, especially the new ones, the ones that are under age 21 are up and down, and most of the others have under 21 in red around their picture.
Sure.
Make sure
Okay.
that they
Sure.
see that.
Sure, yes, okay.
Any other questions?
Well, we need to ask him which do you want, the $500 fine or the 14-day suspension?
The fine would be fine.
Okay. Are we ready to make a motion then?
I believe
I'm going to
so.
make a motion to give a penalty of $500 for violation for selling beer to a minor at Hampton Inn to be paid in 7 days, or a 14-day suspension of the Hampton Inn beer permit will be assessed.
Second.
Any further questions? or-
No.
Okay. We're about to vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Just for your information, the second offense typically is 21-day suspension or $1,000. So another reason that you want to avoid coming back here, so.
Absolutely, yeah. Don't want to be here again. I
Yes.
understand that.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, and I apologize, obviously, to the town and the citizens. It's a very serious matter, so I don't want to, it's not a light thing that happened, so I do apologize. So, thank you.
Thank you, Darren.
What do we want to do with the third?
Yeah, Allison, do we have any reason to understand why Mr. Patel
He should
might
have
not-
no reason that he's not here.
Okay.
Because I had talked to Mr. Talent. He actually called me the day after they got their violation, so we had talked already. So he was aware that this meeting was coming. But I emailed it to all of them. We did the return receipt on a mailing. We got Mr. Talent's back right away. I've not seen still Mr. Walker's or the Smart Serve. That could be the mail. I mean, because it was mailed like September 20th. So we had Ardo, who's our officer that delivers all of our citations for court. He served it to them last week, and so I have a signature from all of them. And to prove that it was all got there, Mr. Walker said, this is my third packet. Why am I getting a third packet? So the same process with Smart Serve was the same as Hampton. So I can't imagine that he didn't get all three of them.
Okay.
So,
We probably need to just move forward in his absence.
Yes,
And
yes.
Detective Cole, would you read into the record the report on Smart Serve and tell us what happened there?
Make sure this. I'm looking at, I want to make sure I've got the date correct on this.
the
This-
date is correct.
Okay, March, okay, all right, just wanted to make sure. On March 8, 2021, at approximately 16:37 hours, detectives with the Knox County Sheriff's Organized Retail Crime Unit conducted an underage beer sale at Knox County business. The arrestee, a manager at Smart Serve gas station, sold the underage person a six-pack of Budweiser bottles and did not check or ask her for ID. The arrestee was misdemeanor cited and is to appear at the City County Building on 329 at 7:30 to be booked.
Thank you. Do we know if there's been has this organization had other violations?
They had one in 2018.
2018? Okay.
And I believe it's still under the same ownership, too.
Why is it such delayed from?
It's not
this
delayed.
happened in March?
It was handled back in
March
2018.
to here is
No,
my
March.
bad. It just got lost in the cracks. Yeah,
Saying.
yeah.
It's that, I'm sorry.
Just got lost in the cracks.
Who actually served, who was the actual person?
The last name is Patel.
That's who was the, no, Who was
Manager.
arrested?
His last name Patel,
Prakash Kumar?
and the
Okay.
owner is Peter Patel.
Okay. I'd ask, so. Well,
Well, let me make sure that that is correct, because there's two different,
That's what we have on our sheet anyway.
Yeah, he's got a, if anybody can pronounce his first name, be happy for you.
Kamar?
Gosh, is Kamor, you're right, that's, yeah.
Patel.
But that is not a he, it's apparently a
She,
she.
yes.
Says race M.
Well, it says female.
there's one that says,
I know we're confused about gender these days, but sex has a F under it instead of a M. Race has a M. I don't know what the race M means,
I'm
but
not sure.
We have to make a decision here.
Not the obvious. A, they didn't even ask for an ID. B, six-pack, so it's six
Yeah.
beer, 5 beers more than the other two, and they're not here.
And they're not here.
And this is the second
Second.
offense.
Second offense.
So I think
I think we should do the suspension. The 21-day suspension is what I'm in favor of.
How do you enforce a 21-day? How do we enforce that? Obviously, that's,
I think in the past, they've had the distributor, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think the distributor has to go onto their premises and take the alcohol.
I know that we've had one business in Knox County that has had suspension, actually two, and they've put a note on their door that says that they can't sell alcohol for so long. And another business put like caution tape between the doors and made sure that no one opened up the doors to get in to the beer case to actually purchase the alcohol. So I'm not sure how you guys would recommend them doing it, because I think the alcohol's already been purchased by the business itself.
Yeah.
So it's actually owned by the business.
We would notify Knox County Sheriff's Office that they are suspended for a certain period of time. So that way, if they have a chance to go by there maybe a couple times or more frequently, just to check.
Do a compliance check
Be
and make
helpful.
sure that they are doing what they're supposed to do.
well, that's my question to all of you. Is that going to be enough, or do we want to put a stiffer fine in than the $1,000 civil fine?
And quite a bit. To not be able to sell alcohol for 21 days is going to be a very expensive endeavor for them.
Well, I don't disagree,
Yeah, so-
except that we're assuming that that's exactly what's going to happen, and we may not. What's the recourse if they're caught selling?
We would have them right back to the beer board, and you could revoke their license, and they could no longer sell beer at all.
Okay.
So you have a big stick if they find that they are not doing what they're supposed to be doing during that suspension period.
Understood. And I know that you guys are pretty leanly staffed these days. Do you have the time to do a compliance check? 2 or 3?
We actually have one scheduled next week,
Okay.
so.
I'm trying to figure out, I don't want to be adding more onto a
No.
load that you guys are already carrying a
No,
hefty one.
that's what our office does. We do the compliance
Okay.
checks. And we try to schedule at least one a month.
Okay.
So that we go out. Then there's 3 of us that go out and actually take the underage people with us.
Okay.
To do that.
As long as you all are comfortable with that's what they'll do as a compliance check.
I want to make sure I understand. It's a 21-day suspension we're thinking of, so you
not-
get a
so I'm
chance
throwing
at
out there.
maybe
Yeah.
once in that 21 days, or could you get out there more than once?
We can. We don't have to have underage people with us.
Right.
To go out and
Just
check
make
to
sure
see
the
if
tape's
they're
up.
actually serving. All we have to do is walk in and.
Yeah.
And my office, the officers in there, we work in plain clothes. So they wouldn't know that we were an officer when we walked in.
okay.
Okay, I'm fine with the suspension as long as we can get somebody in there occasionally, so. All right, so we need a motion?
I want to make a suggestion before you make a motion. I'm going to suggest the 21-day, but if it comes back to us, then I think we need to do both.
We could do a complete, we could suspend our license indefinitely.
How would it come back to us? What's your concern?
Well,
If we find a violation,
Well,
it
then
would-
that's a
that would come back in
revocation.
front of the board.
If he violates our, that's what it goes to, is a revocation.
I just don't want it to turn into being a third offense,
Well,
as opposed to,
that would come back to the beer board as a separate offense that you would then have to adjudicate, and you would have to, again, decide at that point what you would like to do with it, whether it's suspension,
Okay.
revocation, or whatever the circumstances may be.
okay.
When would the suspension go into effect?
7 days.
Would they be notified by mail, or how would that work, so that we would know exactly when that we need to start?
Don't really say.
We always send them a letter stating exactly when their dates are that they cannot serve, and we will send the same letter to the Knox County Sheriff's Office so that
Okay.
you have those exact dates in your book as well. It's usually a few days after the meeting, so that way they can be served, they can
Okay.
get the letter, gives them time to do whatever preparations they need for the suspension. It's usually about a week, though.
Okay, all right, that way we have plenty of notice to get out there and check.
Right, yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion. I move to suspend the beer license for Smart Serve for a second violation for selling beer to a minor
You need to put the length of the suspension.
for 21 days.
Second.
Effective, when did y'all say now?
Sounds good.
We have to do that? Okay.
You don't need to worry about
Yeah,
it.
right.
Any further comments, questions?
None.
All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes.
Can I ask a question? Yes, sir. I'm sure you probably don't give out a list of where you went, but if these were 3 that failed, how many others did you go to?
We do have a list in the office. Lieutenant Matt Lawson keeps up with everywhere we go. If we go and when we go and they do what they're supposed to do, then we just leave. And I think the beer board in Knox County will maybe send them a, hey, you've had a compliance check and you've done everything you're supposed to do, keep it up, it's kind of that kind of thing. So, but yeah, if you would reach out to Lieutenant Matt Lawson, he could probably get you a list of everywhere we've been and every time we've
Actually
gone
have
out.
it. I'm trying to find it for you.
Yeah, we know, Matt.
Well, that might be a
Volunteers.
good thing to do, because it lets
We
people
do
know
look
that
for
they're
some,
active and out there.
underage people
Right.
all the
And
time.
so it
17-year-old that needs some character building.
energizes their efforts to make sure that this is an issue that they're aware of. Is that just would that be a coordination between us and Mr. Lawson,
He does.
from the Knox County Sheriff's Office, do you think?
I'm sorry.
To get the list of any Farragut businesses that are.
It's on the screen in front of you.
Oh, okay, wow.
These are all in Farragut?
No, there's some of them.
There's several that aren't, but they're, the ones at the top of the screen are the ones that are in Farragut that did not sell when they went out.
And I guess that's a different
It
miracle.
looks like the Smart Serve,
As I say, the Smart Serve did pass the second time around.
But this was from March.
Well, this one actually is not. This is the one in August. So the
Yes.
Smart Serve was cited in March, and
Yes.
then they did it again in August, and they did pass in August.
Yes, that's what I mean. The March is, we just adjudicated from March, not from, and so they're complied in.
March for them, but
Yeah.
August for the other two.
They're complying now
Yes.
after.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Scroll that. Scroll that down a little bit, Allison. No other way.
The other way, other way,
Like there
to
were
the top
4,
of that
yes.
list, because we couldn't see the
Those are the
top.
ones that
There we go.
Those are the,
Came
ones, those
before
are the
you.
violations.
Hampton
Okay.
Fairfield. What about Eloise?
Okay, well, it wasn't us, so
Okay.
it's
That's what I
elsewhere.
was thinking.
So this is the Campbell Lakes. Fairfield.
Yeah.
Range.
Robin is
the
in,
Fairfield.
Red Robin's in Farragut,
Yeah,
correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Shell Station.
State
Campbell
Bridge,
Station.
Taco Boy.
Mellow Mushroom.
There's quite a few in here that we could send a note to them, say, and, so can we just set up a form letter that we can send out?
We can.
I agree.
I think it's good for people to know that that this is an active, that you guys are actively working on this and that our businesses need to know that.
Word will get around too,
Yeah,
word of mouth from
Yeah.
one business to
Couple
another.
of hotels for sure.
All
yes.
right, any other business for the beer board? We're adjourned.
Thank you again.
Oh, appreciate you being here.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't tolerate that at all. When she turns 18, she gets to do some of these things.
You're fine.
I'm like, no, you're going to serve your community.
Okay, let's do it. It's approximately 6 p.m. The October 14th, 2021 Farragut Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting will now come to order. All Farragut Board of Mayor and Aldermen meetings are public notice per Tennessee state law. Our meetings can be seen on live Charter 193 or TDS Channel 3, as well as the Farragut YouTube channel and our website. It will also be recorded and can be viewed later, Town of Farragut YouTube channel, as well as Charter Channel 193 and TDS Channel 3. During the regular posted agenda, all comments or questions from Farragut residents will now be in person. If you are interested in speaking, we ask that you fill out a blue card with your name, address, and agenda number and turn it in to the town recorder prior to the start of the meeting. The mayor or the vice mayor shall maintain and control the meeting to provide a professional and objective environment, so please read the posted comment protocol and understand that there will be a 5-minute limit for each speaker. At the end of tonight's business meeting, there will be some time reserved for public comment under the Citizens Forum agenda, in which the same rules apply as a regular posted agenda item. Okay, a meeting call to order. We'll start tonight with a silent prayer, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to our country's flag. I will now ask the town recorder to please take an attendance roll call for a quorum.
Alderman Burnett.
Here.
Alderman Meyer.
Here.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Here.
Alderman Pavlin.
Here.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams. Okay, any agenda amendments?
No, sir.
None, okay, I'll ask for a motion, please.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. All in favor of approval, please say yes.
Yes.
Let the record show October 14th, 2021 agenda has been approved as listed. Okay, next will be approval of the minutes. Is there any changes?
No, sir.
None?
To approve.
Okay, all in favor of approval, say yes, please.
Yes.
Yes. Let the record show September 23rd, 2021 minutes have been approved and will be recorded as the official minutes of that meeting. Mayor has nothing to report tonight, and I will yield the floor to the Vice Mayor for her report.
I don't have much, but we do have our Representative Farragut West Knox Chamber of Commerce, Julie Blaylock, here to provide our monthly chamber engagement update.
Good evening, everybody. Julie Blaylock, Farragut West Knox Chamber of Commerce, officed at 11826 Kingston Pike, Suite 110, Farragut. You've got before you the monthly report of all of our activities and engagements from this past September, as well as a preview looking forward into the rest of October and November. We continue to be very, very busy. We've had 10 members join, 2 of which are officed in Farragut, 1 which is a home-based business this past month in September, so good, healthy month of growth. And we had 12 total programs and events that we hosted in September, not the least of which was our 33rd annual auction, which we certainly missed your presence at. We were happy to have Trevor there. But probably more importantly, that auction is a fundraiser. And it is in part a fundraiser for the chamber, but this year we changed some things to give back to 2 local charities. And so shortly before tonight's meeting, we were pleased to have Mayor Williams and Mayor Glenn Jacobs and Mayor Tony Akins from the North City, who was representing LCUB and TDS Telecom, and our committee to present 2 checks, each in the amount of $3,250 to American Cancer Society and Volunteer Ministry Center. And as I told them, the sponsorship of that event, as well as the year-long support we get from our municipal partners, makes it possible to make that donation. It is the largest donation we've ever given from that event in over a decade. So thank you. We appreciate that. A couple other things I just want to touch on and let you know about that you may not be aware of. We did have another Economic Development Council meeting this last month, so myself and Steve from Shop Farragut, Farragut Business Alliance, and Karen Tyndall and Trevor, we met to continue our ongoing efforts to stay on the same page and help each other however we can when it comes to helping businesses in our area. We did actually acquire a new intern who is a Farragut High School senior. Her name is Emma Kim. So she started with us in September, and this is her first professional role of any kind. She's never had an actual job, which is common for us, for students. And so we are teaching her the ropes from the get-go, and it's been a good experience for all of us. Also had a very interesting meeting with Dr. Bartlett at Farragut High School. You know, even though he has been the principal now for over a year, with COVID, things have been, I can't imagine what his last 18 months have been like. But we finally got the opportunity to sit down together and talk about some ways that the high school and the chamber can become better partners for each other, especially when it comes to the workforce development pipeline, because our high school seniors, at least that don't leave the area, and even the ones that do, we want them to come back to Farragut and to East Tennessee to work. I was surprised to hear from Dr. Bartlett that a large percentage of his Farragut High School students actually have a job where they work 30 hours a week or more. And the reason for that is because though appearances may say otherwise, many of them are helping to support their families. Single-parent households, households where a parent has lost a job or is ill. And so there's a great need at Farragut High School to support these kids. They are already entering our workforce, and we want to make sure that they're successful and that they get paired with the opportunities that they're deserving of. So Dr. Bartlett and I are working on ways that we can affect that. And then also, which was exciting, is we were part of the first planning meeting for the regional legislative agenda. So that's a legislative agenda and advocacy presentation that typically the Knoxville, Blount, and Oak Ridge chambers have presented as part of the former Innovation Valley. This year is the first year that the Farragut West Knox Chamber as well as Anderson County Chambers were invited to be a part of that. So it's a program that will take place in person the last Friday in January. It'll be at the Hilton Knoxville Airport, I believe. It'll be a breakfast type event. It will have our area legislators. The piece that we're working on as chambers is to come up with a list of points that all the chambers in our area can get behind in terms of advocating for to create a business-friendly climate and an area that will attract new talent, better workers, and also provide greater resources to the ones that are here. So lots of great stuff going on. Also, just FYI, we're working with the Farragut Press once again for the Chamber's annual business guide and directory. That publication got a total rehab last year. It was very successful, continues to be. So the next one will come out in 2022. It will have an extensive section that has been very valuable for us, at least, to all of the new residents coming into the area, as well as new businesses about Farragut. So it'll feature our Board of Mayor and Aldermen. It'll feature Farragut as an area, Parks and Rec, and just as much information as we can give. So you'll be seeing some information come out about that. And then just a list of what's coming up for you all. Everything that's in blue is what's happening in Farragut or at a Farragut business. So there's a lot this next coming month. So I think we took you all the way through up to Thanksgiving, which I hope to be off for anyway. I do want to point out a couple things. Tomorrow night, our young professionals, West under 40, they're going to have a Halloween costume contest over there at the Admiral Pub. I am not responsible for what contest costumes they choose to wear, but I will be in attendance. If you have time to stop by there, since it's right in our backyard, I encourage you to do so. It should be a fun event. We are also co-sponsoring the Farragut Business Process Seminar with Trevor Hobbs, so I know that's taking place next Wednesday morning, and hopefully that is successful. That afternoon, on the 20th at 2 p.m., we are hosting a webinar. And I wanted to let you all know about this, not just because there's businesses that may be interested, but because I know that some of our aldermen are still in the corporate world. And so you might find some value in this, and I thought it would be great. It is a webinar on energy management featuring Incline HR. And while you probably don't know Incline HR, it is a Farragut-based business. It's home-based. And their founder and their owner is Greg Klein. And I just want to read a little bit of his bio to give you an idea of the quality of speaker that we've got for this program. So Greg has over 21 years of experience across human resources spectrum. He does executive coaching, leadership assessment, development training, and organizational development. The companies that he has worked for and now currently coaches include General Electric, United Technologies, Conagra Foods, Biogen, Merck, etc. So not small entities. He has done some coaching for our board and has also done some coaching for me. God bless him. But he's a wealth of experience, a lot of energy. This is a program that for non-members would be $75 because of Greg's expertise and the CV that he brings to it. For members, it's included. It's a 1-hour webinar, so easy peasy, do it from your desk. So, and at that, I think I will take questions if you have them.
Julie, I have one.
Sure.
This is something that it got stuck on the back burner for me for a long time. I know that you have gotten your interns from the high school, and so you have your the list of things that you need for a student who's interested in coming and working with you.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they have, the Knox County Schools has a work-based learning program with their CTE. And I've had this idea of trying to figure out, okay, what does the high school have to offer for CTE, and what are the needs of the businesses in and around this area? Because if we can make that work for this high school, it's something that Knox County Schools can then roll out to other areas that have CTE-based, work-based learning opportunities. And work-based learning is, they usually are able to leave their 4th class, which is their last class of the day, and work for, I think it's like an hour and a half for 5 days. And they're supposed to be working on something. And that's kind of trying to figure out how to marry those two with, because there are a lot of, they do a lot of marketing things. They have marketing in their CTE. They have a lot of other things going on. And so it's really a matter of trying to get all that information together and then find out what the needs are.
Yeah.
It's something I would like to work with if maybe we could partner on.
Yeah, I would love your help with that. We used to get our interns from Farragut High School just through their senior project class, which no longer exists. It transitioned to work-based learning. We did have a few interns, and I think that it was just such a new program for the high school because of the mandates from the state of all the paperwork that was involved, that for the first couple of rounds, the high school and the chamber, I think, we found it a little taxing almost. And of course, as you know, the high school is short-staffed as it is. But I did actually talk to Dr. Bartlett about that. I would love to start a program where we could start helping to place students with local businesses.
Okay. All right.
It's a question of time, matching, insurance, all the stars aligning, but yes. Yes, I'd love
We
that.
can talk about that offline then. I
Okay.
just wanted to know what your thoughts on that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for this. It's very helpful.
You're welcome.
Okay, there will be one thing I will mention, and you may run into some of the guys here in town that are retired Navy that actually served on one of the USS Farraguts. They're in town for a reunion. They will be at the ball game tomorrow night. They'll be recognized at halftime, and then they'll be here at the town hall on Saturday. So I think, Sue, what's it, 9 o'clock?
Yes.
And But anyway, if you see them around in the restaurants or wherever, they're a bunch of fun-loving guys. They have already got started, so anyway,
I'm just curious, how many showed up? How many?
87.
Very good.
Great.
That's,
Big group.
okay. Okay, next will be ordinance. We have one tonight. It'll be on the first reading. Be ordinance 21-18, an ordinance to amend the equipment fund for fiscal year 2021-2022 budget, which was passed in ordinance 21-13.
Yes, sir. This increase will be $57,000, and the gist of it is we're needing to buy truck number 4 and truck number 36, the replacement of those, due to the long time of receiving new trucks and the increased maintenance of the current trucks. They will need to be purchased this year. The expense will be deducted from FY23 because currently they are projected out for us to buy them next fiscal year, and then added to fiscal year 22. The funding will come from the equipment fund balance, and after the expense for FY22, the ending fund balance will be $921,809. The motion is to approve ordinance 2118 on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions from residents?
No, sir.
None? Okay. Then discussion, and we'll start with Alderman Meyer.
Pass.
Pass, okay. Alderman Pinchot,
Pass.
Alderman Burnett,
Pass.
Vice Mayor Pavlin.
Pass.
I have nothing as well. With no discussion, I'll ask the town recorder for a roll call. Vote, please.
Alderman Burnett.
Yes.
Alderman Meyer.
Yes.
Alderman Pinchot.
Yes.
Pavlin.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show ordinance 21-18 has been approved on the first reading. Okay, next will be business items, and we have a very busy tonight with 10 business items. And we'll start off with the number 1, which should be approval of resolution R 2021-10, authorizing the town to participate in the public entity partners James L. Richardson Driver Safety Matching Grant Program.
Good evening, board members. Jen Hatmaker, Risk Manager. This is a grant provided by our insurance provider, Public Entity Partners. It is a 50-50 matching grant for driver safety-related purchases, also a 100% reimbursement grant program for motor vehicle checks. So we would like to submit invoices to replace some of the barrels and cones that Public Works currently uses for a driver safety course for new Public Works members so that they can get familiar with the equipment and driving some of the vehicles. Also, for the motor vehicle checks, these are completed for any employee who drives a vehicle as part of their daily job duties or can drive a vehicle for training or seminars. Currently, we have 45 employees who are authorized to drive these vehicles. And I'm here for any questions if you have any.
I'm going to move for approval of Resolution R-2021-10, authorizing the town to participate in the Public Entities Partners James L. Richardson Driver Safety Matching Grant Program.
Second.
Okay, questions?
No, sir.
None, okay. Discussion, Alderman Pinchot,
I have none.
Alderman Burnett,
I'll pass.
Alderman Meyer,
Pass.
Vice Mayor Pavlin.
Pass.
Okay, I say the PEP program is a great program, and we're very blessed to receive the grant with proper discussion. Now ask a vote in favor, say by saying yes.
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 Let the record show the resolution R 2021-10 has been approved. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Next will be approval of resolution R 2021-11, authorizing the town to participate in the Public Entities Partners Property Conservation Matching Grant Program.
Okay, so this is another grant from Public Entity Partners, also a 50-50 matching grant, and this would be for purchases of items that will help to protect insured property. Examples of items that we would submit for the matching grant would be retroreflective media alert devices, which would be put, some are already installed around the islands on Grigsby Chapel to kind of help notify drivers there's an island there, to hopefully protect the signage, pedestrian signals, even landscaping on there. Also, some new security cameras at Founders Park, which have already been purchased and installed, and new security cameras for the additional areas in McPhee Park. I do want to mention that these are items that are already budgeted for. We will be purchasing either way, so it's not additional funding request.
I'm going to move for approval of Resolution R-2021-11, authorizing the town to participate in the Public Entity Partners Property Conservation Matching Grant Program.
Second.
Questions?
No, sir.
None? Okay, discussion. Alderman Burnett?
I'll pass.
Alderman Meyer?
Just make a comment. I really appreciate the staff working hard to continue to find grants to help cover costs, and so I'm very supportive of this.
Thank you.
And thank you for your hard work.
Alderman Pinchot?
I'll pass.
Vice Mayor Pavlin?
I'll pass.
Mayor, done. Proper discussion now asks that all in favor vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Let the record show Resolution R 2021-11 has been approved. Thank you again, Jen. Okay, approval of fee change for daily rental of the synthetic turf athletic fields for tournament purposes. Lauren, you're up.
Lauren Cox, Parks and Athletics Coordinator for the town of Farragut. The Parks and Athletics Council has been discussing the balance between community use and tournament use on our synthetic turf fields for the past year. We received an overwhelming response for tournaments for spring, summer of 2022, which prompted a deeper conversation to talk about fees versus community use, tournament use. The council voted at their June meeting to limit tournaments to 2 weekends per month. For any organization, we'll only have 2 per month, and to limit them to 3 weekend tournaments per season. Our seasons are spring, summer, fall, winter. So over the year, they could have 6 tournaments. During that meeting, we also, staff were requested to do further research on fees for synthetic turf field tournament use. And the fees that we currently have were recommended and voted on by the board in December of 2016, and we have not adjusted them since. Our operating costs are increasing and our fees have remained stagnant. Town staff presented the council with fee research at their September meeting. The council unanimously recommends increasing synthetic turf field fees for tournaments from $300 per field to $600 per field. And they hope that the proposed fee increase will allow the town to offset the cost of operation, maximize use of the facility, and entice tournament groups to stay in Farragut hotels in order to receive a rebate. Any questions?
I'm curious, 6 tournaments a year, that seems a little high.
Do you want to make a motion first?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, okay.
Okay, move to approve fee for synthetic turf field for tournament use from $300 per field to $600 per field to commence on November 1st, 2021,
Second.
except for 2022 tournaments that have already been approved and paid their deposit.
Now you can say.
Now you can second.
Second.
All right, so my question is, 6 tournaments, is that a lot? I mean, it seems like that's a high number to begin with.
We have some organizations that will book us for 12 tournaments.
So the demand is there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Sounds to me like we need another field.
it does. I agree.
Flex or something.
And the committee approved this unanimously,
They did.
and the $600, with the idea that we'd look at it, and within a year, 6 months, we would possibly reconsider, possibly going higher if necessary.
Yeah, this is outside of our normal fee structure. We will come back to the council in their February meeting, and we'll talk about park fees overall at the next meeting, and we'll include this again.
Okay, when is the scrum that you have to choose who uses what, when?
In our next, for spring, summer, it's in January.
January? Okay.
First meeting, January 6th or something like that?
The second week.
Second
The
week.
second Tuesday of January.
Okay.
I'll just say this. I appreciate that the council is being mindful that our parks were originally built for our residents, and that's what their original intention was, just to be for residential use. So balancing having people come in and using it for tourism with the fact that we still want our residents to have access to it is an important thing to me personally, that we are making sure that we're trying to strike that balance to be fair to our community. So thank you.
And just for the rest of the board, some of the numbers, the fee that we've increased to is 600, but there's some that are 1,000 and more,
Yeah.
correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so
We're,
I think it's very, very reasonable, but I think it still
Yeah.
could go higher.
I agree. I asked Sue and Lauren, it seems like looking at the numbers that we may be leaving money on the table, but this is, it's again the balance
That's what you need to find out.
of our community and how they use the fields, and not making it so expensive that they can't enter the marketplace to use these fields. So
Some of the coaches, or some of the members of the committee who have coached and are involved with teams and so forth, saying that the $600, when you break it down per child, is very small. It's a couple of dollars per child. So, I mean, it's very, very reasonable, the $600.
Alderman Burnett?
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add. I mean, I think we do have to recognize this is a big jump, and these are organizations that are run very lean, some of these soccer clubs. So doubling that cost is a big deal. I think it's warranted. There were people on the committee that wanted a lot higher, and then there were some that maybe thought a little lower. And so I do think this is a good start. And again, I think it's a great time to pump. If you're worried about this concern, take advantage of our rebate and get your money back by putting people in hotels. So I think it seems like a good package, one that we continually need to look at every 6 to 12 months. But I'm in support of it. Curious, Lauren, do you know how many square feet are in our turf fields out at Bob Leonard?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Idea how many parking spots we have out there?
No, you don't know that
Okay.
either.
Somebody told me to
Thanks,
ask you a
David.
few questions.
Thanks, David. We have them on a Post-it note on my computer, though. If I was at my computer, I could tell you.
screenshot that.
Even the parking spaces, because we counted them.
Board, this is Lauren Cox's first time before you in 10 years of working at the town of Farragut. So she needed a couple of tough questions asked of her.
And she avoided it for this very reason.
You did a great job, though.
Thank you, Lauren.
Okay, Alderman Meyer?
I do have some questions, but I'll go easy on you tonight. Maybe this will be directed at Sue. I am curious, I'm trying to figure out what % usage are the fields set aside for tournaments versus community or residents using it. Like if the denominator is how many opportunities are there to use the field, and then how many of those opportunities are taken up by tournaments versus residents? Do you guys have any ideas?
So with I'll just give you last year's numbers because I do have that. Last year, in fiscal year 2021, we had 14 weekends of tournaments. And during those 14 weekends of tournaments, I'll give you our revenue was around $11,000
Okay.
For those 14 weekends.
Is that all 3 turf fields for those 4 weekends, or were some just 2 out of 3 or 1 out of 3?
Most are all 3.
Okay.
The ones that last year we had gridiron 7-on-7 football that would use 1 field while FC Alliance was using two fields. So sometimes we had 2 tournament groups per weekend.
The entire weekend, when you say weekend, I guess Saturday, Sunday?
Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
And then KFC and FC Alliance generally will use from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Fridays.
Okay. And those 14 weekends then, so basically we could assume all 3 of the fields were used either in combination with
Yes.
entities or whatever. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. See, it wasn't that hard. Good.
I knew that answer.
Okay, any other questions? None? If so, I'll ask that all in favor, vote by saying yes.
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 Let the record show that the fee change has been approved as requested. Thank you, Lauren. Next will be approval of dates for November and December Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting.
It's my most favorite agenda item of the year. I thought that was good. All right, so this one, in the past, the Board of Mayor and Aldermen have chosen to cancel the second meeting in November due to Thanksgiving and the second meeting in December due to Christmas. The dates for the meetings in November are Thursday, November 11th and 25th, and December meetings are Thursday, December 9th and 23rd. If the board wishes, the second meeting in November and December will need to be canceled. If a need arises, a special meeting may be called. So the motion is to cancel the meeting of November 25th and December 23rd.
So moved.
Okay, thank you. Usually, we don't have much discussion on this, but I will start with Alderman Mayor.
I'm in full support of the motion.
Vice Mayor Powell,
I have not.
Alderman Pinchot,
Pass.
Alderman Burnett.
Pass.
Okay, yeah, I suggest that we stay what we've done in the past. It seems to work, and if we need a special session, we can do it. So now I ask that all in favor vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Let the record show the approval of the suggested dates. Thank you, Allison. Next will be approval of appointment to the Farragut Tourism and Visitor Advisory Committee.
Yes, sir. Currently, there is an opening on this committee, and Ashley Lynch has presented her application. So the motion is to approve Ashley Lynch to the Farragut Tourism and Visitor Advisory Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any questions? None. Okay, discussion.
I have just one thing. She was, we didn't appoint her out from a miscommunication that we thought she was moving out of town. She's been a very active member on the Tourism and Visitor Advisory Committee, so I'm glad we can have her back on board.
Agreed. Okay, all in favor vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Let the record show the appointment has been approved as requested. Next will be approval of the request to locate a subdivision sign in the public right-of-way for Fox Den subdivision as provided for in the town's sign ordinance, Farragut Municipal Code, Chapter 109-12, Part B, 1B, Olympic Drive, right-of-way area located off Smith Road. Fox Den Homeowners Association is the applicant.
Hi.
Mark?
On this item, the Fox Den Homeowners Association is basically requesting to locate a sign, and for some reason that graphic got changed, but...
We usually see the next one.
Okay. Well,
I'm not sure what
how.
happened.
But in an island that exists within the right-of-way in Olympic Drive, the location of signs in the public right-of-way is provided for in the ordinance, but it does require a couple of extra steps beyond the normal sign permitting process we have in town. The sign's location and the streetscaping plan has to go to the Planning Commission for review and recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. It has to go to the VRRB for the same thing, for review and recommendation on. And then ultimately, the use of the right-of-way for the sign has to be approved by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. In this case, the request is for a small monument sign in that island that's near the entrance to Fox Den subdivision off of Smith Road on Olympic Drive. They've had to redesign this a couple of times now. The original plan was reviewed by the Planning Commission back in June, and also by the VRB in the same month. After it was initially reviewed, they were able to identify that there's some underground communication lines that run there across the front of that island up along the road, so they had to move it from their original location, which was in front of the tree. Then they came back at the last VRB meeting in September with a revised plan, but that actually located it very close to an underground storm sewer pipe that the town maintains that runs across Olympic Drive from the north. It sort of runs just slightly to what would be the east of that large tree there, and then down further, all the way across the island and out into a ditch on the other side of the little loop road there. During the discussions with the VRB at their September meeting, it was recommended to the HOA that they, look for another location and get as far away from that storm pipe as possible. It's an older pipe. It's probably mostly corrugated metal as opposed to concrete. And the town engineer felt like it was not a matter of if, but when that would have to be dug up. One of the recommendations that the staff and the various boards have been making with regard to locating signs in the right-of-way is that there be a maintenance and liability agreement put together between the HOA and the town. So it would have protected the town had it needed to dig the pipe up and destroy the sign, but it didn't really make any sense to put a really nice sign that close to a storm sewer pipe that in all likelihood would have to be dug up at some time. So what they did is they relocated it to the other side of the tree, which would be the west side of the tree. It's a little hard to see there, but I think you can see it on that other map that was sort of the plan view looking down. Yeah, that one. So it was originally proposed up there, sort of at the top of the island near those communication cables. It was then located over to the east of the tree, and it got very close to that storm sewer pipe. So they've relocated it again, and they're proposing it now to go in over there, and we think that's probably a superior location. So the VRB again reviewed it in September at their September 28th meeting. One of the conditions was to relocate it. The HOA has, and this is a revised drawing. And then they also recommended its approval subject to the lettering on the sign being moved up a little bit to get in, to make some room for the landscaping to grow up underneath without impacting the visibility of the sign. Also, the applicants will need to work with an arborist to protect that tree. It's a very nice large oak. They are in the process of working with an arborist. They have already had the arborist out there on the site to evaluate how to best put that sign in without damaging the tree. And then also for the HOA to get with the town and enter into a maintenance and liability agreement. The town attorney has put together a sort of model set of language for that. I don't know if you remember, but a few months ago, you all approved a sign for the preserve at Turkey Creek, also in the right-of-way. And we're just going to use that same maintenance and liability agreement for sort of a model for these. So based on that, staff can recommend approval of it. The Planning Commission's reviewed it and was okay with it. The VRB approved it, and subject to 3 conditions, and we'd recommend those same 3 conditions be part of any approval here. I think there are some representatives from the HOA, if you have any questions for them here.
I'm going to move to approve.
Second.
Okay.
Do one of you guys want to just...
Do we have any
No, sir.
speakers? Okay, thank you. And I guess we do need an HOA person.
I'm Joe Mathern, 217 St. Andrews Drive.
Okay, we'll start off with Vice Mayor Pavlin, since you were on the Planning Commission.
I don't really have any questions. You guys are fine with the conditions that we're, obviously you've put it where staff recommends it should be placed, where VRB and Planning Commission and other. I just wanted to give you a heads up that we are in the process of analyzing our stormwater infrastructure throughout the town so that we can understand what needs to be replaced, what can maybe be rehabbed. So just so you're aware that we're on top of that, and if anyone's concerned about that, it's something that we're in the process of working through. So
Okay, good, thank you.
because you don't need your roads caving in for a stormwater infrastructure failure. So just wanted to let you know about that. But I appreciate you all working to certainly improve our communities, about our neighborhoods, and I appreciate what you guys are trying to do.
Well, thank you.
Okay, next will be Alderman Pinchuk, since you're on the VRRB.
Yeah, I am a member of the VRB, and I want to thank Joe and the HOA for your willingness to work with us the way you did. And I think the final location of that sign is probably the best for everybody. So
We
thank
agree.
you. Thank you for what you've done, and good job.
Thanks for your input.
Alderman Burnett,
No questions, I'll pass.
Alderman Meyer.
Pass.
Okay. Okay, everybody's covered pretty much what I had. So with that said, all in favor, vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Okay, let the record show the sign location has been approved as requested.
Thank you.
Just stay up there if you don't, well, okay.
To present it.
Yeah, I forgot. Okay. You'll be up again, so.
Stay close.
Okay, next will be approval request to locate a subdivision sign in the public right-of-way for the Foxton subdivision as provided for by the Town Sign Ordinance, Farragut Municipal Code, Chapter 109-12, Part B, 1B. This would be on St. Andrews Drive, right-of-way area located off Everett Road, Foxton Homeowner Association applicant.
This is a very similar request. The Foxton HOA is again requesting for another sign at another one of their subdivision entrances. The ordinance does provide for, a sign at each, or a sign at each entrance. So this one is St. Andrews Drive. It was also platted with an island with a looping road around it. So they are, proposing a similar location to utilize, that island as a signage location. It's a slightly narrower island than the other one. It's got a few more trees in it. They had some problems with utilities with this one as well. In this case, they ran afoul of a public water line. They again had originally proposed to locate it up there at the top of the island, but that's where the water line was, so they had to move it. So they've relocated it to what would be the western side of that island. It's quite close to a gas line. They did an 811 call to locate all these utilities, and there's a public water line in there and also a public gas line. But the 811 people told them as long as they're 2 feet away from the identified line, they should be okay. I verified that with the town engineer. That's a fairly typical recommendation. It's kind of based on their margin of error for locating those lines. The Planning Commission had reviewed this originally in June as well, and so did the VRB. And then they reviewed a revised plan showing the sign in this location at their September meeting. And the VRB approved it at that time, subject to the applicants working with an arborist to protect those trees, and also the standard maintenance and liability agreement, which I believe that covers not just the town, but also the other public utilities that will be in the right-of-way. It's an odd situation to locate signs in the right-of-way. Typically when they're on either an HOA lot or on an individual property owner's lot, there are easements that protect the utility lines, and we just keep the signs out of those easements. The utilities won't let them locate. In this case, it's all in the public right-of-way, so there aren't any easements provided for those various utility lines. So, again, the HOA had to dodge those and get them marked, do the 811 call, and we are recommending that there's a maintenance and liability agreement put in place to protect the town and the other public entities that use the right-of-way for other public purposes. So again, we can recommend in favor of this, with those same conditions that the BRB approved it by, with both the actions of the Planning Commission and the BRB behind it.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, no questions, so we'll start out again with Vice Mayor Pavlin.
I don't have any, you guys, you all understand the conditions that we have.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Alderman Pinchuk,
I pass.
Alderman Meyer, Alderman Burnett.
I'll pass.
Okay, it's amazing what's buried that people don't realize is there until they go looking, and then
Yes.
they find a host of things that will prevent what they want to do.
I'm glad we found out sooner than later.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are too. Okay, thank you, and all in favor?
Yes.
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 Let the record show that the signed location has been approved as requested.
When do you guys think you'll be able to get your signs in?
We're looking at November or perhaps early December.
Okay.
Great. They
Hopefully
look
it goes
very nice.
smoothly.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, next will be approval of the bid for contract number 2021-11, design, build climate-controlled storage building at the Public Works Facility.
Good evening. The purpose of this agenda item is to consider bids and award a contract 2021-11 design build climate-controlled storage building to the chosen contractor. In our strategic plan, we had, during our budget process, identified this project as a maintenance and improvement item to take down the old Dimick house on the McPhee property, which is a maintenance issue and an eyesore now that everything's gone from around it. And so it was initiative number 6 on that list. Our long-term use for the Dimick house that is on the McPhee property has changed. When the trees and brush were removed, it has exposed the house. This will become an attractive nuisance when the park is open. And for this reason and the upkeep of the house, which is in bad repair because of people trying to break into it, we feel it is a better option. Attached, I have 4 bids that we received on September the 28th, 2021. These bids are for the design build of a 40 by 50 climate-controlled storage building, which will be located on the Public Works site on Fritz Road. We recommend award of the contract to Holston Construction Services, LLC, based on their low bid of $227,000. Motion for approval of bid for contract 2021-11 to Holston Construction in the amount of $227,000.
Second.
Okay. Discussion, we'll start out with Alderman Meyer.
Yes.
Pass. Alderman Burnett.
I'm good with it. Just curious, where are the contents of the house going? Are they going to this?
I can't hear you.
Are the contents of the Dimick house going to
Yes.
the climate?
Yes, we will move everything that's in the house to this climate control building after we throw away a few things.
Alderman Benchow.
Yeah, I got a question. How tall is this building going to be?
Is designed to be inside working height of 18 feet.
Put a second story in it?
Yes, and that is when we fill it up, if we, in the way the building pad and the footers are done, we can expand and put a loft in and give us clear headroom. The building we have now is 17 feet. And one of my taller employees hits his head when he goes up, so we gave it an additional foot so that we will have headroom clearance.
Glad to see that you thought ahead. Good, appreciate it.
That may dictate
Pardon?
how tall people you're hiring in the future.
No, I just need workers. I don't care how tall they are.
Okay. Okay. Vice Mayor Powell.
Just quickly, because we are about to do our ribbon cutting for McPhee, so obviously the Dimick House is going to still be standing when we open up McPhee Park. I know it says here work is supposed to be finished March 1st, 2022. At that point is when we'll be unloading the Dimick House and removing the Dimick House from, and demolishing that. Is that the time frame we're looking at?
Yes, ma'am, and I hate to say this word again, but COVID has killed the steel industry.
Sure.
and these prefab buildings. And so delivery is, what I heard yesterday, delivery of this building would be sometime in January.
Okay, so,
So, yes, we would build the building, and as soon as it's built, we'll empty the other one, and then we'll have a contract before that to have a demolition crew come in and remove that and grade, that property so that it can be seeded straw and maintained.
okay, so what is our wishing on a star date for the Dimick House being demolished? If all the stars align and all of this goes the way we'd love it to go, are we looking May timeframe to have the Dimick House out? I'm just trying to get a ballpark. I'm not going to tie you to a date.
I am.
Just did. You just tied my date. Let's just say in the spring. How's that? Sorry.
Of what year?
Go. That's all right.
We
I'm
will, as soon as the building is done,
Okay.
it could be done before that, completion date, that's what we want. But as soon as it is done, there's nothing to it, we will start moving stuff in it immediately when it's finished.
All right, so
Once-
when do you think we'll have a contract before us for the demolition of the Dimick House?
I'll be doing that in the winter, this
Okay.
winter. Because nothing about that is gonna change from the time that we issue a bid till it's demolished. There's no
Okay.
circumstances to change. We'll have that in place, we'll just have to wait till it happens.
Okay. That's all I had.
Alderman Pinchot?
I do have, as far as the building, the prefab building, utilities and so forth, can any work be done as far as the infrastructure before the building is put up? To help you move along?
Right as you move through my gate, there is a utility transformer junction box and a water meter. And so the contract was written that they will just tie onto those, and it's part of the contract. The sewer for the building is the only thing that I did not include. They're going to stub the sewer out 5 feet outside the building footprint. But for us to tie on the sewer, we have to go to our swell to the south of our building and go all the way down the hill to tie in. This will have a roughed-in bathroom in it, just roughed in. It'll have a toilet flange and a water supply sticking out of the wall and a sink drain sticking out of the wall and the vent pipe through the roof. And that's it, because we'll do that later in the process.
Okay.
So, because we have other restrooms up there, but we eventually will have a single restroom.
It's going to be climate controlled, so you're going to have the whole thing is going to be climate controlled?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, heated and cooled. We have to, some of the stuff that we put in there has to be climate controlled.
Okay, so that means that we could do the footer and pour the pad and stub up utilities prior to the building coming?
Yes, that's their plan. They shot elevations yesterday on it.
Okay.
And gave me a low point. We got to add just a little bit of gravel to level the pad out for them. And it's ready to go. So they will do everything before the building gets here. They will do that before the building arrives.
Okay. We've worked with Holston in the past, or are we
Yes.
familiar with their?
Yes, sir. They actually did the ADA restroom renovation here at Town Hall for the family restroom, and the men's and women's directly across the hall in the back foyer area here.
Okay.
And we were very pleased with their work, and they were easy to work with. So,
Yep. Okay, sounds good. Let's see, all in favor, vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Let the record show that contract 2021-11 has been approved to Holston Construction Services, LLC. Okay, bud, you might as well stay up there. Approval of purchase of vehicles on the state contract from Wilson Motors.
the purpose of this agenda item is to approve purchase of 3 vehicles from Wilson County Motors. All 3 vehicles are budgeted to be replaced in FY '22. Due to chip replacement part shortages in the automobile industry, delivery of vehicles has been delayed. Currently, delivery estimates on budgeted vehicles is sometime in June of 2022. So attached is pricing information through the state of Tennessee contract, and it's a state contract from Wilson County Motors. Below is a description of the vehicles being replaced with new vehicles and the cost for each. All vehicles scheduled for replacement have exceeded their useful life due to mileage, age, and rising maintenance costs. Deadline for ordering these trucks is October the 29th, 2021. We have an Equinox, two Equinoxes, which will be front-wheel drive, and then one all-wheel drive for one of our engineers so that he can get off in the dirt and in the mud. And so the total for all three vehicles is $66,308.40. And request your approval for this item.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion. Vice Mayor Pavlin,
I have none.
Alderman Pinchot,
I have none.
Alderman Meyer.
Pass.
I have none.
I have none as well. All in favor, vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Record show the purchase from Wilson County Motors has been approved as requested. Next will be approval of purchase of vehicles on state contract from Ted Russell Ford.
The purpose of this agenda item is to approve the purchase of 3 more vehicles from Ted Russell Ford due to the chip and replacement parts shortage in the automobile industry. Delivery of vehicles has been delayed. Current delivery estimates of these budgeted vehicles is also June of 2022. In the original FY22 budget, only the 2010 F-250 was scheduled to be replaced, and in the evaluation process of the town's vehicles, is noted that the 2007 Chevrolet Colorado and a 2010 Ford F-150 pickup have exceeded or will exceed expected life in terms of appearance and maintenance. Currently, the 2 trucks are in the FY23 equipment replacement schedule. If the delayed delivery for these trucks continues into the coming months, these trucks will be possible not received until June of 2023. By this time, the appearance, mileage, and maintenance and reliability of these trucks will be diminished and exceeded their useful life. Attaches pricing information through the state of Tennessee contract from Ted Russell Ford. Below is the description of the vehicles being replaced, new vehicles, and the cost of each. The deadline for ordering these trucks is October 29, 2021. And we're looking for a Ford F-250 four-wheel drive, which is one of our snowplow trucks, a Ford 2022 Ford Ranger that we need, and then also a 2022 Ford F-150 two-wheel drive pickup truck. And looking for approval and a motion for this.
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, discussion. Vice Mayor Pavlin.
Allison, just a quick question. This is an updated sheet with this is in our packet, and that's the updated sheet with the motion
Yes,
that
ma'am.
we just made in the beginning of the meeting.
Yes, it's
Okay.
the trucks that are currently in the fiscal year '23 budget, and then with the budget amendment, we moved them to the '22 budget, so that
Okay.
is the current one.
Okay,
Yeah, we bumped those 2 back.
understand.
In addition to, Chevrolet we could not even order a 3/4 ton truck through Chevrolet. We tried back in August to pre-order, and they wouldn't even accept the order. And so that's one of the trucks that we needed the most
Yeah.
because of the rust underneath it, and it's a
Yeah.
plow truck. But I don't know, I'm sure everybody's familiar with what's going on in the automotive industry, but when you walk on the lot and the guy tells me he has 3 vehicles for sale, 3 trucks is all he has on the lot for sale. And we actually have 2 Ford trucks and a Chevrolet truck in the shop right now. The 2 Fords have been in there for 6 weeks for repairs, and we still do not have the parts to repair them. And the Chevrolet, they're having trouble diagnosing what's going on with it. And so they thought they had it once, but as soon as we got it back, it did it again. So it's getting, we're having to get creative with what we do to match what the manufacturers are doing. Plus, the state bids were 3 months behind their normal award as a dealership this year. And so that's also hurt everybody.
And I'm not questioning any of that. It's very disheartening to and very frustrating, and I imagine putting a lot of stress on our guys because we don't have the equipment that you need to do what you need to do.
Just do the best we can do, and we had a COVID outbreak 3-4 weeks ago, and we really put squeeze on all of them to separate and do this, and then when we don't have the trucks to operate out of, it has made it extremely difficult on us. So, but we're plugging through.
That's all we can do, right? I appreciate that, Bud. Thank you.
Alderman Burnett,
No comment.
Alderman Pinchot,
Pass.
Alderman Meyer.
Pass.
I have a good friend that used to work at the Chevrolet dealer, local Chevrolet dealer, his #1 truck salesman. He now works for a local department store because he don't have anything to sell.
That's right.
Okay, all in favor, vote by saying yes.
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 Let the record show the purchase from Ted Russell Ford has been approved as requested.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next will be Town Administrator's report, and I'll yield the floor to Mr. Smoke for his report.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things coming up in actually 2 weeks from today. We're going to have the ribbon cutting for the Blue Cross Blue Shield Playground, all-inclusive playground right here just south of Town Hall. We're looking forward to that. I know there's just a couple odds and ends that they're doing right now, but that'll be at 5 o'clock right before the board meeting in 2 weeks. And then the next night we have a big event, Freaky Friday night. I hope we have some people dressed up to give away candy that night, right, Alderman Meyer?
You better believe it.
All
I'm
right.
good to go, man.
Always a great time at Mayor Bob Leonard Park. Starts at 5 and ends at 7. So a great time to bring the kids and family. Hopefully we have great weather for it. So with that, that's all I have to report.
We don't need rain.
Not that night, anyway. Thank you, David, and looks like Mr. Hale has already left the building. And do we have anyone in Citizens Forum?
No, sir.
We do not. Okay. Then it looks like the adjournment time is approximately 7:01 p.m. Without objection, October 14th, 2021 Farragut Board and Mayor and Alderman meeting is now adjourned.
Keep getting these pins.